So you are about to view a clip from the AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST. Go subscribe to the channel and turn on bell notifications found in the pinned comments so you never miss an episode. Now it comes down to the Indianapolis Colts and this narrative that has been circulating around them, all right? Derek, I'm not sure about you, and maybe it's just the content that I'm seeing from around the AFC South, but everybody and their mother has the Indianapolis Colts finishing in the basement of the AFC South this year. I'm seeing quite a lot of disrespect. Seems like a lot of people are thinking that Anthony Richardson is still completing his rookie season in and of itself. Maybe it had to do with the slow free agency. Not sure. But take the floor. Why should we not sleep on the Indianapolis Colts for being genuine competitors and contenders for this division? Talk to us.
I mean, why shouldn't you? Because they were literally a incomplete pass away from making the playoffs last year and winning the division. I know this guy's up here pretending to sleep like as if that don't matter. He knows that he got lucky last year. He won't admit it out loud, but I know right now he's thinking, damn, he's right. I'm really glad that the Colts dropped their playoff hopes alive. Man, we were so close last year, and we didn't have our starting quarterback. Our best running back was hurt and unable to play at the end of the game and for half the year. Our entire secondary was decimated last year, and you had a first-year head coach just like Ruben had to deal with last year, and both of our coaches showed in their first year as head coach they had what it took. They were able to grasp their guys, and they were able to get the best out of them. The Colts were maybe one of the most injury-ridden teams in all of the 2023 season, and yet we were this close still to being able to make it that close. And now all of a sudden I'm hearing people say that like, oh, the Titans are going to pass them this year. Oh, congrats. You bought half your team, or at least your defensive perspective. That's fine. I'll be laughing at you once again when you win 7 games this year at most. But either way, this team this year, when Anthony Richardson actually goes out there and actually plays a majority of a season, and I know everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, is that true? Yeah, sure. Okay. But you're going to have a head coach that has a whole new year going into it. You're going to have a quarterback now back that is going to force every defense to have to commit to the run game even more than already they had to with Jonathan Taylor. And if the Colts just don't get hit with the injury bug like they did last year, this is a team that can easily compete with anyone else in this division for the playoffs. We did it last year without a good chunk of our best players and everybody being a whole year younger. We can absolutely do it again in 2024.
It's all right, Dalton. It's time for your revenge. Should people be sleeping on the Indianapolis Colts? Do they have a shot at taking the division this year?
Look, man, first of all, I have a lot of Houston fans coming at me all the time, okay? and in this offseason, I had a lot of Colts fans coming at me because when you guys in the roundtable was like, submit us your records to the AFC South, I had the Colts at number 4 going 7-10 in the AFC South. And here's my issue with the Colts, okay? And here's my issue with Chris Ballard. While the Texans were out there making money moves in free agency, going out and getting Donnell Hunter, Joe Mixon, even the Titans were getting in the mix, signing some players, and the Jaguars obviously were too. The Colts were sitting there kind of sitting on their hands like, oh my gosh, can we get this Ladarius Sneed trade going? And then boom, the Titans trade for him instead. I don't think they got enough veterans in this offseason that's really going to propel them past, really where the Jaguars or Texans are this offseason. And it's a shame because I do like the nucleus of their team. They do have some good players out there. And, Anthony Richardson, probably has the highest ceiling of any quarterback in this division when it comes to just his measurables and what he can do running the football and throwing the football. I mean, the guy really is a specimen. But I just felt like Chris Ballard loves too much about his own homegrown players, and I feel like he never wants to get outbidded, and I feel like he's has this mentality of, oh, it's an honor to play with the Colts, and if you don't want to play for us, then have fun somewhere else. Look, in the NFL, players are going to chase money. They really don't care all that much about, where they end up unless they're 35 years old and just want to get a ring. So had some nice draft picks. I mean, Latu was a, really good value. AD Mitchell was also good value, but I just feel like when you see teams really in March trying to really sign players, make them better, I just felt like Chris Ballard didn't have that killer instinct to really, get the Colts over the top and really get him over that hump. So I just didn't see a lot of improvement in the roster.
I will agree with you real quick before we let everybody else talk. I will agree with you. His ego is by far and away the biggest problem with how the roster gets constructed, is that Ballard just doesn't like to overbid. I pray one day he'll let it go. One day he'll just let it go and be like, just one time, just let it go one time and just overbid for somebody. I don't care who.
Well, Titans Rossi. So I'll tell you what, man, listen, I'm sure that you're hoping that you can trade places with the Indianapolis Colts this year as far as the ultimate division ending once it does hit into January. Should the rest of the NFL be sleeping on the Indianapolis Colts based off of the level of competition surrounding your division as well?
I mean, look, the Colts played tough last season, given the injuries like they did. I mean, they were, I said it during this show a few times, how, they were scrappy considering what had happened to their team. I mean, their team was decimated. I've been there with the Titans. I mean, luckily last season, we just sucked. We didn't have like an insane amount of injuries like in the past, which was a positive. We just sucked. You know what I mean? It was Will Levis kind of halfway through the season starting, that type of thing. And then this year you got, your whole new coaching staff, all new players. We have the most turnover out of any team in the NFL since 2020. It's insane. The amount of turnover that the Titans have on their roster. But I mean, with that being said, I mean, as far as the Colts go, like I don't see them being like a 9 or 10 win team. I see them being on the level as the Titans. I see Anthony Richardson and Will Levis being on kind of the same level of like growing as quarterbacks. Like, I don't think Will Levis and Anthony Richardson are both going to insanely blow out the NFL this year, but I think they're both going to improve. And I think that the Titans and the Colts are kind of going to be battling for that spot. Now, I think 8 to 9 wins is not unreasonable for both teams.
Ruben, talk to us. Why should people be sleeping on the Colts, or why shouldn't they be?
Bro, to me, Colts fans have become conspiracy theorists, right? According to them, they're going to go to the AFC Championship. Anthony Richardson is going to have an MVP season. What the hell are we talking about here? Because of these 8 quarters all the way back in week 1 and 2, you're so hyped about AR. That is absolutely crazy. Your general manager is holding you back. Derek, your words just 5 minutes ago, where I hope one day he could outbid for someone. You offered Danielle Hunter more money, and he chose to come to the H, not only because this is his hometown, because he knows that the Houston Texans are onto something, and the Indianapolis Colts are not shit. And you're going to see that when we get Justin Simmons in a couple of days, because no one cares about the Indianapolis Colts, man. Like, I'm sick of it, and I can't wait to get on the Tennessee Titans. But Andy, like the super chat said, you have zero reason to be this passionate whatsoever. I cannot wait for you to tell us, man, I miss Gardner Minshew, because that is going to happen.
I can't wait for week 1.